Hello everyone, welcome to Noble Creative, and today we are going to review quick subtitle scripts for After Effects. That means create captions for your social media videos and subtitles without leaving After Effects. And hopefully it's going to make your workflow so much easier and faster. And thanks to Quick Subtitles developers for sponsoring this video. So to open Quick Subtitles, you need to go to Window and you will find it with other scripts that you already have installed. So here, as you see, I have it right here docked in the interface. I can undock these and just put it wherever I want, as you see here. So I'm just going to leave it right here and just give more space to the video here. So you can see here we have this big box right here where we can just type anything we want and so on. And we got a few buttons that we're going to explain in this video. But the first step we need to do is to get the timeline ready for this. So we need to choose here range work area extended by current time, and then select the area you want to work with. So here I'm just going to work on this area. So let's hit LL, and basically I have the video speech start from the second, so that's very important. We need to start the first work area need to start from here. And the first thing, so we can work faster with any video, is to listen to it first to have an idea about it. So let's just do that.
The whole idea of who invented the video game has always been a little bit troubling to me, because I stood on a lot of people's shoulders, primarily Steve Russell, who programmed Space War at MIT. And I think any of us who had the fortune to get a hold of a big computer that had a display connected to it, we played games on them. And so I knew that if I could take what was on those screens and put it in a game center, that people would put money in. And so what I really did is I commercialized.
Okay, so now we know what's the video about and we have a few ideas. So you can basically just start typing here, listen and type right into this box, or actually just copy and paste. So I already have the whole talk right here, just copy that and paste it here inside the box. So the next step is to break these tags. So hit break, and as you see, it's break it to lines, and on each line we have 6 words. As you can see here, we can change that to 10 and hit break. It's going to update that, so whatever words you want. So this is just getting started in these tags. So if we say that to 0 and hit break, basically you can see how different it is. So basically when it's set to 0, it uses text punctuation. So let's say we have few here, just going to create random ones and then hit break. So we can see here just break to those punctuation. So this feature is maybe helpful. So let's just remove this and set this back to 6 and just paste these again and just hit break. So the second step is to hit R, which is going to refresh these, and you can see here it's update these 0 by 17. So basically we have 17 lines here and we don't create any subtitle yet. So here it tells us to listen and then click plus. So that's what we're going to do. But before that, just before the work area, just give like a few seconds before that. So your current time is before the work area, and then use the preview here to play and stop your video. So let's hit play and then plus.
The whole idea of who invented the video game has always been a little bit troubling to me, because I stood on a lot of people's shoulders, primarily Steve Russell, who programmed Space War at MIT. And I think any of us who had the fortune to get a hold of a big computer that had a display connected to it, we played games on them. And so I knew that if I could take what was on those screens and put it in a game center that people would put money in. And so what I really did is I commercialized.
Okay, so we have these tell us it's finished. You can see anything right here. So the next step is to hit apply. So in a few seconds, you can see here, we got few markers in our work area here. So let's listen these and let's basically just position these, hit B and just position these right here for now. And let's listen these.
The whole idea of who invented the video game has always been a little bit troubling to me because I stood on a lot of people's shoulders, primarily Steve Russell, who programmed Space War at MIT. And I think any of us who had the fortune to get a hold of a big computer that had a display connected to it, we played games on them. And so I knew that if I could take what was on those screens and put it in a game center that people would put money in. And so what I really did is I commercialized.
Okay, it's actually very cool, and very quickly I got a few mistakes, which is allowed basically. So we can just do a few adjustments and there we go. So we can see, for example, right here, we have a delay.
Space War at MIT. And I think any of us who had...
Let's just listen these again.
Russell, who...
Basically, let's just position these right.
Who programmed Space War at MIT. And I think any of us who
So
had...
you can see like on MT and...
Or at MIT. And I think any...
So this, you just need to move this marker right here. And so it's just going to update on time. So now it's going to be on sync.
And I think any of us who had the fortune to get a hold of a big computer that had a display connected to it.
So you can see, for example, here we have computer connected to it. So display connects it. We don't have it. So basically it is on this next one. So all you need to do here is double click here. So when you double click on the marker here, the first line, it tells us like the number of the line or the marker and a few words here, which is second one start with. So here we can just remove it from here and hit OK. And for this one, we can just add it right here. So very easily to adjust these. You can see it's updating here right away and correct that. So let's keep going on here.
We played games on them. And so I knew that if I could take what was on those screens...
So we need to do the same here on those screens. Remove these from here and just update that to this one here. So now we have these updated.
And so I knew that if I could take what was on those screens and put it in a game center that...
So we still have another one to do that here. Game center. Just remove that and just put it right here. So all these mistakes actually I have made. So I just break that into 6 words on each line and it's respect that. So here you can do the adjustments. But basically what I can do is actually just do that right here. So for example, here you can just, let's say we can break that right here. Do the few adjustments. Hold a big computer that hard. Yeah, so we need here to have these right here. We can just correct things right here. So, and right here. All these can be done right here, and then we can just update that. So as you can see here, so just breaking these lines manually here. And let's make sure I have no mistake here. So let's refresh these again, and I can just delete these and basically just listen one more time.
The whole idea of who invented the video game has always been a little bit troubling to me because I stood on a lot of people's shoulders, primarily Steve Russell, who programmed Space War at MIT. And I think any of us who had the fortune to get a hold of a big computer that had a display connected to it, we'd play games on them. And so I knew that if I could take what was on those screens and put it in a game center, that people would put money in. And so what I really did is I commercialized the whole.
Okay, so now let's hit apply, and then I'm going to get the new update here. So let's preview this again.
The whole idea of who invented the video game has always been a little bit troubling to me because I stood on a lot of people's shoulders, primarily Steve Russell, who programmed Space War at MIT. And I think any of us who had the fortune to get a hold of a big computer that had a display connected to it, we'd play games on them. And so I knew that if I could take what was on those screens and put it in a game center, that people would put money in. And so what I really did is I commercialized the whole idea of who invented the video.
As you see now, it's really perfect synced right here. So I can just extend these a little bit here to finish the last word. So you can see here, everything in sync. And of course, we can just skip the subtitle like that because it needs to be right with the background and so on. So you can see now we can see this subtitle. So basically, because this is actually a text layer, everything you do, the text layer can do it to the subtitle. You can update the color if you want to, and so on. You can change here all these fonts and the size and all the cool stuff you do usually to the text layer. You can basically update it very easily and quickly here. And so now we need actually to just put these on the right place. And of course we need a background to it. So we just here, you can see here we have lines and blocks, and just hit background, and basically it should just go for it. So as you see here, we got our background here. So the background, we can change the color right here, maybe black right here, and change here the opacity to just 50%. So you can see here what's going on. And we got few controllers here, so we can control the width and height. So maybe you can see now because of the color. So let's just put it right there. You can just control that as you see here. You can make that roundness to the background if you want to, so you can see what's going on. It's basically updated to the whole ones here. So let's just preview these again here.
The whole idea of who invented the video game has always been a little bit troubling to me because I stood on a lot of people's shoulders, primarily Steve Russell, who programmed Space War at MIT. And I think any of us who had the fortune to get a hold of a big computer that had a display connected to it, we'd play games on them. And so I knew that if I could take what was on those screens and put it in a game center, that people would put money in. And so what I really did is I commercialized it. The whole idea of.
So as you see, everything looks perfect and in sync, and the background will look just right. So let's say you don't want this background and maybe you want to go for block. So you can just choose the block one, and it's just going to replace that one, the line background with the block one. So you can do the same thing here. Just update the color or change roundness and width, and all of that thing, as you see here. So you get the idea what you can do basically here. So now we know how we can set up the background here, which is very cool and very easy, very straightforward actually, and it's update very quickly, and also it's render quickly here. So let's say actually you want something different. You want the text to be animating actually, so here you can go for type on. So let's just delete these both here and just hit apply, and then it's just going to apply here. Let's just solo here this so we can see it now. So we can see here we actually have the animation here. Let's go for lines and create background for it. And quickly here you can just preview this. So you can see here we got the animation for subtitle, which is very cool and very useful here.
Always been a little bit troubling to me because I stood on a lot of people's shoulders, primarily Steve Russell, who programmed Space War at MIT. And I think any of us who had the fortune to get a hold.
That's look pretty cool. We have few different ones, as you can see here. So let's go for slide words, hit apply. Going to get a new one here. Let's just delete the other one here, background with it, and just create a new background here for the new animation. So let's preview this.
Connected to it. We played games on them. And so I knew that if I could take what was on those screens and put it in a game center, that people would put money.
That's look pretty cool. So maybe we can go for different ones here. So let's try these elastic lines, hit apply. Let's create its background as well. Just make sure you select the text layer.
The whole idea of who invented the video game has always been a little bit troubling to me because I stood on a lot of people's shoulders, primarily Steve Russell, who programmed Space.
So as you see, we got really nice animations here. And of course, we got on text layer here, we got the animation line duration, which you can actually adjust here to speed up or slow down the animation, and that for all the other animations here. So let's go to try zoom for the last animation here. So let's just delete these two and hit apply here.
The whole idea of who invented the video game has always been a little bit troubling to me because I stood on a lot of people's shoulders, primarily Steve. The whole idea of...
That's look pretty cool. So we got different animation, and don't forget about line duration, which is very useful as well to just adjust the animation duration there. So here we have these two sliders here, and basically the first one is the line width, and so let's see what that means. So let's just delete these ones and go for static here, and let's just go for 100% and hit apply here. So let's just solo these. So you can see here now the line actually grow, trying to reach the width of the comp here. So you can see what I mean here. So you got 100%, and if we got to 30%, which is the minimum here, and just create another one here, so we can see the difference. So it's just like going to give us multiple lines for each subtitle there. Let's just move this one up right there. So we can see this one is 100%, and this one is just break it into multiple lines as you see here, which is very useful feature that you may need. And that's going to be applied for the whole text layer. So all the subtitles are going to be break into multiple lines. So another feature I want to show you here. So first, let's delete these layer here and just skip the first one. And here we have 9 seconds. So this is auto stop. So let's say I want auto stop at 2 seconds here, and I'm going to hit apply. So basically that means after each subtitle, it's just going to disappear after 2 seconds. So it's just going to create the auto stop for us, taking a few seconds, and then we got it here. So let's say right here, so you can see here the difference between the two texts. So you can see here this empty, let's just go for here. So you can see like here we have this empty marker here. So you can see how it just disappeared. And this is applied for the rest. So after 2 seconds, we got an empty marker here. So it's just going to disappear. We can adjust that if we want to here. And basically, if we want to create manual one for this one here, you can just add a marker as we do in After Effects, and you can just place it where you want to and add as many as you want. So you can see here the idea here. And another tip here is if you want to add, let's say something here, like let's say this 9.9, so like the line here. So you can see we don't want to type just that. So we need to add another line, and this is where you need to type. So right here is going to be if you want to add something in between subtitles, if it's missed, or to correct something. So you get the idea, and this is very important features, especially the auto stop, because it's very important. There is sometimes some silence and you just want that part of subtitle to just disappear, and this is very handy feature. So now what I want to show you is how to add a different language very quickly. So let's just delete these, and basically here what I have is Arabic version here. So I'm just going to copy these and just remove these and change right to left, reorder these and just paste that right here. So now all I need to do, let's just put these back to default here, and then I'm just going to hit apply, and it's going just very easily update a new language, which is very important for your videos and to get more viewers. So you can just select that and then create background for this and just place it where you want. So as here, very cool. So that's it. And you can see very important features here. We got background easily created. We got few different types of animations. We got the auto stop. We got the break, which is very important to get you started with lines that you need for subtitles. And another very important feature here is exporting and importing your subtitles. So you can export your subtitle here very easily with SRT file that you can use on social media if needed. And here we have import. So let's say you have SRT file and you need to import that basically to render on your videos, which I have here one. So you can just select that and import that for the whole video here. So basically it's just going to create the subtitle here, just taking a few seconds to get things right. So we can add background, maybe animation to that SRT file for the video. So let's just see here what we got. Okay, so let's delete this one here and let's adjust here these. So maybe just like that, maybe this 0 here. You can just now go for a background here. As you see, we can just place it right there. Just going for the opacity here. And of course, you can see now the whole video is with subtitle here and the background ready to be exported. So let's just preview this part here.
and those were massively successful, but to a very narrow demographic. And so at that point in time, we lost the casual gamers and we lost women. And we really didn't get the women back until mobile. And so now we're back to the arcades.
So that's it, guys. As you see, quick subtitles got very useful features. Sync subtitles to audio by listening and click. Easy to edit, export and import SRT files. Break text to multiple lines. Control line width. Auto resizing background with different looks. Auto stops. 7 text animations for your subtitles. And also, once you get the tool, you get a lifetime of free updates. And also, I want to mention that there is a Premiere Pro version of the script, so make sure to visit the product page to learn more about it and tell us what you think about the tool and what would you like to see in the future updates. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos coming soon. Thank you for watching.